Hey, what's up you guys? It's Star Wars Dojo here today with a brand new video. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Ahsoka episode 3 just released and it was an amazing episode and I can't wait to get into it. I'm going to give you all my thoughts at the end. Let's get right into the video. The episode opens up and we see Ahsoka's ship going into light speed. We see Sabine training with Huyang in lightsaber combat. Huyang is using these sort of lightsaber hit marker tracking device things. They're really cool. For those of you that don't know, Huyang was the lightsaber specialist at the Jedi Temple. He would help younglings with their lightsaber training. Huyang is honest but harsh and tells Ahsoka and Sabine that Sabine is doing very poorly and that she's pretty much his worst student he has ever had. Ahsoka brings out the old blind helmet lightsaber train, just like Luke used it and also like how Kanan did. They do this to teach that when being a true Jedi, you do not need your eyes to see, but you use the Force to see. Ahsoka tells her to feel her presence and to take in all that is around. We get a long training montage scene with Ahsoka pressing Sabine until she gets upset and starts swinging hard because she can't see where Ahsoka is. After Sabine continues to build anger and frustration, Ahsoka continues to keep knocking her down. Ahsoka says to her that her anger and frustration are quick to give power, but they also unbalance you, essentially explaining what happens when people use the dark side and use anger and hate to fuel themselves. You become unbalanced and will fail. The scene changes and we see Hera Syndulla having a meeting with Chancellor Mothma and the senators. They ask about Jacen. Jacen is Hera's son that she had with Kanan Jarrus. Hera says that he is fine and that he's running around on the ship somewhere with Chopper. Senator Zehono interrupts rudely and asks to get on the main discussion of hearing Hera's report. Hera explains that they found Empire loyalists and that she has suspicion to believe that Grand Admiral Thrawn is still alive. She asks if she can receive a task force from a New Republic to go investigate this matter. Senator Zehono rudely replies, "Isn't this just another attempt for you to use New Republic resources to go on a goose chase to find Ezra Bridger? And that she's using Thrawn as an excuse to scare the Senate into getting what she wants and that it is time to let it go." Hera explains that she has fought in the war and has been in it, unlike Senator Zehono, and says that Admiral Thrawn is not a person to be messing with, especially if he's still alive. She says that she has fought her whole life in a war and that is why she's trying to convince them to help her so that way they can prevent another one. Zehono says that Grand Admiral Thrawn is dead and says that Ezra Bridger heroically died with him. Chancellor Mothma asks Hera to stand outside and give them a moment to speak with each other. Hera walks out of the meeting and we see Jacen Syndulla. He asks if it's true that Aunt Sabine is going to be a Jedi, and he asks if he could be a Jedi too. It's really cool that Dave is including Jacen Syndulla when I didn't really think they were going to. I thought it was a bad idea and that they're going to scrap it, but they're really bringing this character in, and I think that's really cool. The scene changes and we see Ahsoka and Sabine sitting down drinking what looks like tea. Sabine says that she isn't going to be a good Jedi because she can't use the Force and that she will never be as good as Ahsoka. Ahsoka says that the Force resides in all living things, including you. Sabine says, well, if that's true, why doesn't everyone use it? Ahsoka says, yes, talent is a factor, but training and focus are what truly defines someone's success. That was one of the most impactful quotes I've ever heard in Star Wars, and it is the most true thing you could ever hear. And hard work will always beat talent every single day. Ahsoka uses the Force to pull her cup and says that not everyone can handle the type of discipline it takes to master the ways of the Force. She tells Sabine to start small. Ahsoka goes to the cockpit with Huyang and he says to her that the Jedi Order wouldn't take Sabine and that Sabine is not acceptable as a candidate. She is too old to be a Jedi. Ahsoka says by their standards, and Huyang says that their standards are proven over a millennia, and Ahsoka's reply is, and they failed. The scene changes and we see Sabine trying to use the Force on a cup. She is unable to move it and she goes up to the cockpit with Ahsoka and Huyang. We see a projection of Hera and she tells them that they are on their own. They lose transmission to their comms and they jump out of hyperspace. They are heading to the planet from a distance so that way they don't get detected. They are immediately spotted and we see these old World War II looking plane ships flying towards the crew. They almost look very similar to the ships in the prequels that the Jedi used, just a little scuffed up and more like planes. We see Shin and Merrick and two of the ships chasing them down. Sabine goes to the cockpit and starts missing all of her shots. Her and Ahsoka are not communicating well until Huyang says that if something doesn't change, they're all gonna get shot down. Ahsoka tries to listen more to what Sabine needs and they start taking them down one by one. We get a really cool fight scene and it is amazing. They get a few of the ships off their tail before they finally see what has been being built this whole time. Huyang says that it is some sort of hyperspace ring that would have the power to make it to a whole different galaxy. Huyang says that he needs to get closer so they can get a full scan. Shin tells Lady Morgan that they are getting towards her sector, and we hear some passive-aggressive remarks from Morgan saying that she is surprised that Shin let them get this far. Morgan says to launch the turbo lasers. Huyang says that he needs to get a little closer. We get such a cool ship piloting action scene that we haven't seen in such a long time. I can really feel George's type of story unfolding through Dave Filoni's work, and it really shows. While nearly getting blown up several times, and they manage to get close enough to get a scan before their shields break and the ship's engine shuts off, sending them into a drift. With Huyang deactivated, the ship's unoperationable, and Ahsoka tells Sabine to run a full diagnostic while she goes out and will protect them with her lightsabers. Shin tells Morgan sarcastically, "Congratulations, you almost got them. We'll take it from here." I just want to mention the headset that she's using is the same headset that Anakin and Obi-Wan use in the prequels. It's almost like they have nothing that is new. Everything they use is old Jedi machinery, and I really like her character so far. We straight up see Ahsoka go out on the wing of the ship with her lightsabers and start deflecting blaster shots from incoming enemy ships. She literally does a flip and cuts a wing off of another ship, blowing it up. It is literally one of the coolest things I've ever seen in Star Wars, and something that a Jedi Master would totally do. Sabine gets the ship operational and gets Ahsoka into the ship. While being chased down into the nearby planet, they pick up some very big objects ahead of them on their radars. They look up and they see Purrgil whales. The same Purrgil whales that we see in Rebels. We got a teaser of the whales in The Mandalorian, but now we're finally seeing them. They fly in between the Purrgil to try to lose Shin, and they end up sneaking away and landing in the Red Forest. They shut down their power until Shin and the other ships fly by looking for them. Sabine, kind of startled, says that she hasn't seen those creatures since Ezra disappeared. Huyang shoots a projection and says that they are building a hyperspace ring, and that he has never seen one to this size or scale before. He says that it would for sure have the capability to reach a neighboring galaxy. He says the Jedi archives speak of galactic hyperspace lanes between galaxies which used to follow the migration path of star whales named Purrgil, which is the whales we saw. The scene changes to Baylan Skoll telling HK assassin droids that the Jedi have taken refuge and landed in the forest and to hunt them down. The camera zooms in on him and the episode ends. Overall, that was an amazing episode. So far, that was my favorite episode. I enjoyed seeing all the ships and the sounds of the ships. Ahsoka going out on the wing of the plane and jumping and using her lightsabers to fight off ships. We're seeing Jason Syndulla. We're seeing so many puzzle pieces slowly being put together. We got to see more of the hyperspace ring. We're getting straight to the point in the story, and it just feels like Star Wars again. It feels like something George would be proud of and proud to see. And I'm very happy Dave Filoni is hands-on this project, and I'm very proud of them. They did very good. This episode was a solid 9 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. I would have gave it a 10 if the beginning wasn't so slow with Sabine with her training session, but literally this episode was amazing. I can't wait to see next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, please subscribe, please tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys in the next breakdown next week, and may the Force be with you always.